but are you familiar with waiting your turn, wait times for healthcare in Canada, the report that was issued today?
I'm aware of it. I haven't had a chance to look at it. It was issued
so
today.
well, it's interesting because, Minister, it says that report reveals that out of 30 developed countries, Canada is ranked 28th in availability of doctors, 25th in hospital beds, 25th for psychiatric beds, 27th for MRI machines, and 28th for CT scanners. That's your record.
Actually, it's. I mean, I love how you don't hold Ford or any other government accountable for provincial health care. Health care is administered provincially. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but we do try to.
Minister, I'm being respectful. You don't.
No,
have
but that
to
wasn't respectful. You just said that it's something that's under provincial jurisdiction is our responsibility. That's not respectful.
Minister, that's your record.
But that's not true.
That is your record.
What are you asking about Doug Ford? What do you think the provincial government in Ontario should do?
Is Doug Ford in front of me right now? You're the Minister of Health.
Right. And so what we did is sign agreements with every province and every territory, $200 billion.
So out of 30 countries, you're happy with that?
That included metrics in every single. No, absolutely. Look, I am not happy or satisfied with where we are in healthcare. But the point is that we have one of the best health systems in the world. That when it comes to primary care, we can do much better, and we are. But provinces have to do their fair share, and not holding provinces to account is not responsible.
Mr. Doherty, please.
Minister, under your management of this file, 7 million Canadians are without a doctor. What have you done? What measurable steps have you done in the year and a half that you've been the Minister of Health to make sure that those 7 million or Canadians have access to nurses, to doctors? What have you done?
Well, I wish I had 20 minutes to answer that because it's a very long answer. The first one starts with agreements with every province, every territory, $200 billion, common indicators across the system. With those common indicators, commitments on specifically doctors, nurses, and improvements in primary care. First CIHI data out last year.
Canadians.
I believe I still have about 5 or 10 seconds.
Keep going. Yep.
The first CIHI data showing baseline report last year shows every province, every jurisdiction, almost without exception, ahead in doctors and nurses. That when you take a look at the investments that we're making in that I just talked about, C72 or health data, I can't say it fast enough because I got so much to say on it. It's great news.
You have a mandate letter?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a continuation of the preceding mandate letter.
So, Minister, you've been in this role for a year and a half. And yet Canadians have yet to see what your mandate letter is. Who sets your priorities?
Well, I think at the beginning I enumerated my priorities very clearly. Pharmacare, dental care, data transformation. Where do you stand on Bill C-72? Where do you stand on dental care? Where do you stand on pharmacare? What is your position? How are you going to fix? How are you going to fix?
Minister, in a year's time, you'll have lots of time to ask all the questions.
No, I won't, because you'll still be in opposition because you can't answer questions about what you're going to do for health care. No, what are you going to do on health care? How are you going to fix those problems? What is your policy solution?
Mr. Doherty, please.
Thank you.
What is your policy solution? Do you have any? No.
Minister, you're the one that's in power right now. You've been in power for 9 years.
What is your solution?
And yet we're failing in every metrics, Minister.
Your solution is cuts.
A year and a half.
Cuts are going to bring doctors,
Minister, please allow him to pose the question. Go ahead, Mr. Doherty.
You're so disrespectful. And weak. And you can stare at me all you want. Like I've been mean mug me all you want. But Minister, the rates of scurvy are on the rise. Yet you're taking off the GST on pop and chips and candies, but you are raising the cost of everything healthy with your carbon tax. What's your rationale for that?
A, it doesn't increase the cost. B, if you cared about scurvy, then you'd be talking about initiatives in First Nations communities. The scurvy you're speaking about is in rural, remote communities. The policies that you have to deal with that are exactly nil. And I find it, yes, I'm very frustrated, Mr. Doherty, that the Conservatives would talk about issues like poverty. You know, I was in opposition. I watched you never talk about poverty. You never set poverty guidelines. You have no policies or ideas on poverty. In fact, your cuts will do devastating things to the very issues you're talking about. And I think it is dishonest and disingenuous when you have no solution.
Mr. Doherty, please.
Mr. You're the only one that's talking about Conservative cuts. The only thing that we're talking about is axing the tax for everyone forever. That'll make life more affordable for all Canadians. The only one that is spewing rhetoric and garbage are the Liberals and the NDP, their coalition partners. So if you want to start telling the truth, that's, you know, that would be a novel idea.
So let's start with scurvy.
Minister, no, it's my time, not yours. So, you know, I didn't. So, Minister, over 47,000 Canadians have lost their lives due to the opioid crisis. You've spent, your government has
Doherty,
spent $1 billion on failed policies.
Your time is up. Get to your question. We'll let him answer it, and then we'll move on.
Minister, what's your comments to people like Brianna McDonald's family that all they've asked for is for this government to stop their decriminalization and their failed
25
drug
seconds
policies?
over time. Minister, please take 30 seconds to answer the question, then we'll move.
Thank you. In the first order, any person, and I know that you would share it in my heart, and you would share it in yours, that anybody who loses a family member is devastating. And we need to use science, data, evidence to provide solutions, not emotions and not fake policies. So we have to provide real answers, and that's what we will offer: true science-based, evidence-based decisions to save people's lives. And if you take scurvy, and I'll just finish on this because you want to talk about facts, somebody who's so food insecure that they have scurvy doesn't drive around a car. They don't pay carbon tax, but you would take away their check. You would take away the benefit that they get every single quarter that helps them pay for groceries. That's what you would do.
Thank you, Minister.
So you would leave them less secure and in a more vulnerable position.